A hotspot is an area in which there are already significant pollution burden, in which a community already faces significant problems with overpollution, or I don't know if there's such a thing as underpollution, and that pollution increases. So as a result of regulatory policy decisions, an area that is already significantly polluted and exposed to toxic chemicals has that pollution and toxic chemical burden increase. And so that's what we call it. It's taking a warm spot, it's actually already a hot spot, and making it a hotter one. Because the areas that become hot spots are areas that are already overburdened. They already have hundreds of sources of pollution, ringed by freeways. In the case of Southeast Los Angeles, the port's the largest polluter in the region, is right in their backyard. So this is the area that became a hot spot in the reclaim program, an area that was already just choking on poor air quality.
Good afternoon. My name is Marta Arguello. I'm the Executive Director of Physicians for Social Responsibility in Los Angeles. That we should not be gambling with people's health by investing more time and energy in trading programs that have already been shown to fail. We should move quickly to do the transition away from fossil fuel. The time we're wasting and the money and resources we're wasting by figuring out how to fix a broken trading system could be better spent ensuring that people have access to health care and a program that will actually reduce emissions. So what we wanted to demonstrate here is that trading is like any game of chance. And look at that. We've just won windfall profits in Southern California for some polluter, but that still means that Southern California has the worst air in the country. This is not the right solution. Thank you. Congratulations, Bayview Hunters Point residents. You've just won a golden asthma inhaler for you and all your friends. In exchange for your health, you can feel good that there's some trees in Manitoba that are safe from the woodsman's axe.
Somehow someone expects us to believe that trading is magic. If you ask people, so how is your trading program going to reduce carbon emissions, they can't actually give you an answer. It just will. We're just supposed to believe that it will happen. But the fact of the matter is, in trading programs that have been tried in the South Coast Air Basin of the state of California, in the Federal Clean Air Act amendments, in the European Union, none of those trading programs has ever reduced emissions in the way that they were purported they were going to reduce emissions. It just hasn't happened. In the United States, we decided to implement a trading program for our acid rain gases emissions reductions, for our sulfur emissions reductions. In Europe, they said it put in place a regulatory structure. In the similar time frames in Europe, they were able to get twice the emissions reductions as we were in the United States. Their program was equally as effective in meeting the environmental requirements. It was done in a shorter time. It was a better program. The Environmental Justice Community in California has developed a three-pronged approach for how we think you can best address climate change and greenhouse gas emissions. That is a program of standards and regulations, incentives, and a price on carbon that's set by a carbon fee. Let me give you an example of how the three-pronged approach would work. First, you would establish a regulatory goal. So for example, a 33% renewable portfolio standard. Then you would establish a package of incentives in order to incentivize or assist business and individuals to achieve that goal. And then you would bring in the fee from the carbon, and you would use that financial stream to help you with part of your incentives package. What that does is allows you to have 3 policy pieces that all work together to support one another. It gives you, again, the stable income stream if there are financial incentives that you need to give in order to encourage or allow, say, a small business to put new solar panels on the roof. You could also use that same money from the carbon fee to build your job ladders that are reaching into the unemployed and underemployed communities. You can incorporate job training so that you can both build new capacity for people to work in the new energy infrastructure, as well as increasing the skills and access to jobs for the existing workers who are already, say, plumbers or carpenters or electricians. You have a way that you can incentivize a package of behaviors, and those policy goals working together to support one another, your regulatory goals, your incentives, and having a financial stream to meet those incentives and goals is a way that you build a policy structure that will actually allow you to achieve your emissions reductions goals.
I think direct regulations is very important, and again, this is an evidence-based conclusion. When we look at where the greatest impact in reducing emissions in California, Southern California, California, and nationally, it's always been when there's been direct regulation of emissions. And it stimulated innovation because companies knew that they had to find the most effective and cost-beneficial technology. It was an incentive to the firms that create this technology to invest in the research and development of new technology because they knew they had a market. So we think direct regulations, it allows for public oversight and democratic control. It allows for a clear and meetable target for emission reductions. You're not guessing. And it spurs innovation. So we think direct regulation is should be a very important component of the scoping plan developed by the Air Resources Board to implement AB 32.
Climate change is caused primarily by burning fossil fuels. It's the number one human contributor to climate change. So, if we're going to address climate change, what we need to do is change the way we make and use energy. And by taking the steps to change the way we make and use energy, we will both reduce climate change, we will reduce greenhouse gas emissions, we'll slow climate change, and will improve the health, the safety, and the quality of life in low-income communities in California, and by extension, as we incorporate these policies around the country and around the world, we'll be providing those benefits to all communities around the globe. The trading program introduces a level of uncertainty that's going to make it very difficult for us to be able to effectively address greenhouse gas emissions programs.